Okay, back on the podcast today with Jason Patterson. How you doing, Jace?
I'm doing good, Coach. How you doing?
I'm doing okay, thanks. I'm doing okay. So again, we're doing our weekly boxing chat. This week, we're talking about different, controversial and bad decisions, aka robberies in boxing. Now, there's a long history of robberies in boxing. We could probably talk about this subject for hours and hours and hours, but we're going to try and narrow it down into 40 minutes or so. So, that's only because me and Jason got to train in about 40 minutes, by the way. But so we've both we've been studying, having doing our homework, looking into different. I mean, I can name most boxing fans can name a few off the straight away. But if you really look into it, there's a lot. I mean, like we said, there is like hundreds and hundreds of them, but we've just narrowed it down to like the big controversial ones. One that stands out for me is Evander Holyfield, Lennox Lewis. The first.
That's your number one. That's what stands out the most to you.
Yeah. Well, I'm saying you're one of doing a list, but I'm just like I said, you've got a different format to me on this. It was very controversial. It was to the point,
I agree.
It was to the point where you could have. Yeah, sorry, he was the first fight, and it was a split draw. Now, in that fight, I don't know if you've ever watched that fight, but in that fight, where is it? In that fight, he landed. One second, yeah. Lennox Lewis. This was the total landed punch stat. Now we had we were just having a little debate before we hit the record button on this, but but this is. You can't even dispute this.
I watched the fight.
Yeah.
So I feel like a lot of times when fans don't watch a fight, they go straight to the Mpgymbox numbers.
Yeah.
And I feel like that won't tell you the story. And I know your premise about if you landed more, you won the fight.
Yeah.
Don't always happen like that. Because the punches get divided into the rounds.
Yeah.
So if you haven't won all the rounds, but you landed the most punches, you didn't land them when it counted the most.
Yeah.
If you didn't win most of the rounds. But I watched the fight. It was nowhere close. The jab did it by itself. At first, what's his name? Holyfield was doing his thing. Like he was standing up and not letting Lewis really bully him. But from the mid rounds to the end, I mean, it was one way. It was not even close. Well, I have it in my honorable mentions. So,
well, what the punch stats, the total punch stats? I know you said they can be controversial, but this is nowhere near.
Oh no, I seen the fight, so I know how dominant he was.
So Evander Holyfield landed 130 punches. Lennox Lewis landed 348 punches. 130 to 348. That is ridiculously wide.
To be honest, when you talk about it, and I don't think it's a British and a compatriot thing. At the end of the day, I am half, you know what I'm saying? My thing is, I'm thankful that they had a rematch because there was so much on the line to be like one of the first undisputed in a while.
Yeah.
And I guess maybe because he was ruled a draw and that Lewis lost, and knowing that he got the belts that he deserved back. Well, I guess it might have been my mistake. I could have put it on my top 5. It's my honorable mention, but that's a clear-cut robbery. One of the worst in history.
Well, it ain't that as well. I think one of it, some of it was down to the judges wanted the belt to come back to America. The belt's all to be an American. And, another thing of it as well, which promoters are not stupid. That was a huge fight. That broke the records at the time for the biggest money fight in history, in boxing history at the time. So they call it a draw. What they've got to do? They've got to have a second. So again, that broke the record. So there you go. So the promoters made twice the money. It goes on, mate. It goes on. It does go. I know they had different promoters, but if both promoters agree, look, we can do this again.
Honestly, I'm not going to start this argument.
Yeah.
Even though we're on a debate show or talking about sports, so we meant to debate. But you want me to tell you my honest thought the first time I watched this fight?
Yeah.
Even though my feelings towards that fight is different than the Holyfield Lewis.
Yeah.
My first exact thought was like, damn, Tyson Fury Wilder. Thinking about Lewis being from the UK, and I seen how I was like, damn, a draw? The only difference is one could have could have been stopped. But then if you go on points, it would have been Fury.
Normally,
but that was my first thought when I seen Lewis Holyfield.
Yeah.
Honestly, it was Fury and Wilder. And then my second thought was, we're probably going to talk about this in the show. We talk about Lewis a lot. Why is he not considered one of the greatest heavyweights ever?
Well,
all the stuff conversation we had about heavyweights, I don't think one episode we didn't mention Lennox Lewis.
No. Well, look, I think he's the second best heavyweight that's ever lived. Like I said, I think Joe Lewis is number one. I've got Lennox Lewis number two. People say, "Oh, Muhammad Ali." Mate, I think Lennox.
It's hard for me to say that Lewis is not better than Ali. The thing about Ali that stands with Ali is his era.
Yeah.
I feel like they had more depth back then.
Yeah, but I just think, like, I mean, I'm of the opinion, look, Ali, legend and all these, done more for the sport than every other fighter ever. By far, he's the most influential character in boxing history. But I think Mike Tyson had knocked him out. And I think Lennox Lewis could have knocked him out. Definitely boxed him on with the jab, the height. Don't forget, Lennox Lewis has been a lot bigger than Ali. Ali was a big heavyweight then. He's a small heavyweight now and then when Lewis was fighting. But yeah, that was a bad robbery. What have you got, Jace? Give us another one who you've got.
Well, that was in my honorable mentions. I got another one, which is Landy Lara against Paul Williams. I don't think it was full belt, but Landy Lara clearly cruised an easy win, and for some reason he got a majority of. He lost the fight by majority decision, which was terrible to me. Yeah. But I have some Olympic decisions. Look, I know we usually talk about the pros, but you know me. No. And I got two fights as my number 5.
2 joint. You can't have that.
To me, you're right, but I'm sorry, it's equal. And it should have been, one should have went to the finals and one should have got gold. And you got Floyd in the Olympics.
Yeah.
Was it the Olympics in 96?
Yeah, 96.
Was it Atlanta 96?
Yeah, I think it was 96 Olympics, yeah.
Yeah, he got robbed against some dude named
Todorov.
Serafim Todorov.
Todorov, yeah.
I mean, even watching the fight, I'm like, how do they count in the amateurs? I mean, the guy, I think, had like 10-8 on Floyd coming out the first round. And I'm like, where? There's only
one thing there's only one sport that's more corrupt than boxing, pro boxing. That's amateur boxing.
True.
Mate, it's bad. Again, so I know the Floyd Mayweather one was really bad.
Coach, I was watching the fight. I was like, I wish he was here because, yes, he got robbed on the decision. But before the decision, I'm looking at the end of the first round and I'm like, how did they have 10 points to him?
Yeah.
Floyd picked him apart from the first bell to the end.
But
no way this guy should have ever been on top of Floyd at some point in the fight in points.
Yeah.
I'm talking about clean shots.
But I'm guessing that your other one is Roy Jones Jr.
You dong Skippy, for real. Like, that's terrible. He did it. He gave him in the second round at standing 8 count.
Was that that's what I'm saying? It's crazy. That's I mean, don't wrong. I've seen some bad amateur decisions. Local.
I had Floyd 5B, but I did have Roy Jones 5A. That's worse.
My experience, yeah, that was terrible.
That's the final. That's for the gold medal
against someone called Park. Last name Park.
Park Sihan, something like that. Sorry, my Korean ain't that good. Wherever he's from.
At the end of the fight, he picked him up, didn't he? The Korean picked Jones up to say, look, no, you're the winner.
I don't think so. I think he was celebrating. Honestly, he was that excited. And by knowing our mannerism back home, I feel like Jones wanted to like push him down. Like, I don't want to curse, but get the mess off me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But both fights, boom. I don't know if you paid attention. Floyd at the decision.
Mm.
The referees, I believe, know who wins, but they don't make the decision.
Yeah.
Well, if it's that obvious, they know. If it's close, they might not.
Yeah.
So, as they said, the red corner, simultaneously, the ref raised Floyd's hand because that's what they won.
I've seen that. Yeah, that is crazy. The ref thought crazy.
And then Roy gives the guy a standing 8 count, but he won every round by a landslide. I mean, Roy fights in the amateurs. Floyd Mayweather looked textbook amateurs style and stuff like that. He still was trying to do the shoulder roll, but you could see he was more of an amateur style. Yeah, Roy, in the amateurs, he fights just like he does in the pros.
Yeah.
I mean, them hooks. I mean, he was setting him up. Most people would just launch the left hook, or me, personally, I would do right hand, left hook. What Roy was doing was he was using the right hand as a jab, so he'll touch with the right hand and launch himself with the left hook. And he was killing the guy.
They played him. It was easy for him. It was easy for him. It was
easy win.
It was an easy fight.
Apparently, rumors, I can't prove that factually.
Yeah.
But the rumors are that the ref whispered in Roy Jones' ear, "I can't believe they did this to you." And then there's also rumors that later on, after everything, I'm not trying to be racist or any type of offend anybody. This is just what I read. 50 Korean monks apparently met with Roy Jones after and said that it was a shameful decision and that they were sorry. Apparently.
But it still don't take, that's the disappointing thing is, though, it still doesn't take it away, does it? It still does not take, you know, the decision away. You can't change. It's sad. It's sad because at the end of the day, that was his dream, you know, to win the Olympic gold medal is the highest accolade.
You represent your country.
I mean, it's the highest accolade you can get as an amateur. You can't get winning any higher than an Olympic gold medal. And he won it, and he got taken away. This is the problem with boxing, like we say. He gets taken away with people in blazers. They're not risking their life. They're not there. Oh,
and I feel like boxing is an individual sport, or then you have your team and your entourage.
Yes.
But at the amateur level, it's bigger than just individual.
Yes, 100%.
It's the only feeling where you get to represent your country, like a World Cup in soccer or basketball. Like, it's the only time you ever feel, yes, USA, but you really represent your own brand in the pros, right? Even though you're from a certain country. But, like, right there, it's crazy. Well, but, that was my 2 robberies. I wanted to bring them up because I knew we will focus on the pros.
Yeah.
But I just thought we should share light on how, like you said, corrupt the amateur system is.
Well, there's another one.
I mean...
Sorry.
And they don't even have drug tests, do you? Do they have drug tests? Do the amateur system have drug tests?
Yes, internationally. So if you're on like a GB podium or stuff like that, yes, you will fight internationally. But locally, no. If you're just like fighting like for Midlands titles or, you know, area, you know, you won't have it. Club to club show, no, you don't have testing. They probably should really because it's different to all sports. You know, it's a combat sport. They probably should be all I mean, yeah, you can't expect a 12-year or 13-year-old, but I think everyone over the age of 16 probably get tested because I think I think personally it does go on hard, in my opinion.
I mean, I never agree with this expression, but some people say if you ain't cheating or trying to attempt to cheat, you're not trying hard enough.
Yeah.
Well, I don't agree with that expression, but if that expression stands, then I'm sure you're right. There's some people that is trying their hardest to win, I guess.
Another one on the list, my list. You I was talking about this earlier. You've never watched this fight. Was Robert Hernelius against Derek Chisora. Now that fight was in, I think it'd have been Germany. I think because I think Solon Cali Solon promotes him. I think I'm not 100% too sure on that. And that was a robbery. It was a split the game. Chisora really did a number on Robert Hernelius. Robert Hernelius fought Dylan White. I think he fought. Did he fight Vladimir? Did he fight? He fought in the end, but it was for the European heavyweight title. And I remember watching that fight, and Derek Chisora went over to Germany because Germany boxing is known for robberies throughout the years. Felix Sturm got a lot of away with a lot of results there. Nikolai Valuev and Holyfield. That's a bad one. I think they fought each other a few times, but the one, I can't remember which one it was, but that one was terrible. Evander Holyfield had won a world title again, like years later. After 6 to 7 years after he probably lost against Lewis, he won a world title again, and they robbed him. Nikolai Valuev is that 7'2" heavyweight, the one who David A beat for the world title. That Holyfield fought him before David A did. Before David A took the belt off him. But anyway, that fight was in Germany. I think she was in Germany, and oh man, Chisora did a number on him, knocked him all around the ring. He was comfortable. It was easy for it was a good performance. He dug deep, he outworked him, landed him. It was a good fight, but Chisora dominated, and they gave it to Anelius. And I felt so sorry for Chisora, because I remember when you see Chisora walking out the ring, and I was like, if you just gave your all in that fight, and it's just for what? All right, you get paid, yeah, but at the end of the day, you want to win a belt. That's why it's for the belt.
Well, is it the money different when you're the winner, or the money's already decided?
Nah,
not on the fight. But for your next fight, it makes
of course,
difference.
Yeah. Well, you got the belt.
It affects you.
Yes.
I understand it's decided before the fight whether you win or lose it, but it affects your next fight if you just coming off a loss.
Yeah. That was a bad one. That's a mention, and another bad British one. Well, I'd say, is it controversial? I think it was at the time, because I think most people did think it was Chris Eubank, Nigel Benn 2. Now, the first fight, good fight, great fight, back and forth, but then Eubank was just too much for him. Outlanded him, caught him a few times clean, hurt Ben, finished Ben. Okay. But then Ben bounced back, won world titles again at super middleweight. He come back, came in with a different game plan this time. Rather than going at it like a bullet, head first, swinging wall, because Ben went into the first fight angry. If you watch the first fight, he walks in, his eyes are just glaring at Eubank. He's like seething. He said, I can't wait to get stuck into him. Those his words. Whereas in the second fight, he come in, and as they're doing that, he's laughing, he's smiling, he's laughing. And even when they're both in the corners ready to go, he's smiling, and he goes in and he boxes him. He does well.
He's more relaxed instead of have tense muscles.
And I don't think Eubank expected that. And most people thought Ben won it, and they gave it a draw. Again, it's what you like. It's just one of them. I'm not saying, people have their own opinions on the fight, but for me, I've watched it quite a few times. It's a big British fight. It's probably could be the biggest British fight to date. And I thought Ben done enough, and I think it's a controversial fight. It's one of the known. Everyone thought Ben won. So it should have been 1-1. That probably would have set up a trilogy, but because obviously it's technically 1-0 Eubank and 1 draw. 1 win Eubank, 1 draw. Eubank could say, well, there you go, you don't deserve a third. But if it had been 1-1, there'd have had to been a third. Another one. Yeah, another one would be, and now this one's different. This is we're going off subject here, decisions, but this one is a robbery. It's just a very controversial, if not, probably could be the most controversial stoppage could be boxing history. Could be, because it was Julio Cesar Chavez against Meldrick Taylor. Now, in that fight, Meldrick Taylor was up on the cards. I think he was like 3 or 4 rounds up, quite comfortable. Yes, Chavez was coming on strong, but
from the 10th round, from what I recollect.
Yeah, but Chavez was coming on late. Meldrick Taylor was boxing well, moving, and the 12th round, Chavez caught Meldrick Taylor right hand, boom, he went down heavy. He got back up with the ropes. Granted, he grabbed the ropes to get up, but by the time he got up, and the referees talked to him, he got up, there was 2 seconds left in the fight. Now, because there's 2 seconds left in a fight. Then Chavez was the man at the time. Probably the name in boxing, you'd arguably could be, yeah. And he sold out Vegas time and time again. He was the man in Vegas. You wanted to fight, Chavez was
definitely one of the man.
Yeah. But he's up there. Meldrick Taylor won. The way you see, if he beat him, like we said before, about that fight. If he beat him, he'd probably set up a second fight. That's more money for you. You got the belt. And it's controversial in the sense that 2 seconds left. There was 2 seconds remaining. Just let him beat the count. Time in. It's over. He's won. He hasn't got it, and everyone says, "Oh yeah, but he could have got it with one more punch, and that could have given him brain damage." This and that. Yes, I understand that he was hurt, but if you go time in, Chavez has got to come from the neutral corner. Yeah, it's going to take you more than 2 seconds to get from the neutral corner. It's a big pro ring. It's going to take you more than 2 seconds to get from the neutral corner to punch him. Yeah, look, you're in the neutral corner. 1, 2, fight's over. He won't even get near him. Very controversial. Watch that. That's interesting. I don't expect people to watch the whole fight if they don't want to watch it, but just watch the 12th round. Watch the 12th round.
I ain't gonna lie, it was playing in my background earlier, but I wasn't paying attention.
Richard Steele is the referee. Richard Steele is a good referee. Richard Steele has managed lots of big fights. Tyson fights, Oscar De La Hoya fights, Floyd Mayweather fights, Manny Pacquiao fights. He's a world-class referee. But he's always got that little mark on him there with that one. Yeah. So who else you got then, Jace? Who else you got there?
Actually, I want to tell our viewers that we chose top 5 robberies or our robberies based solely on our opinions.
Yeah, cool.
Y'all might have a bunch of other opinions. That's the one that I feel like that's my top 5.
Yeah.
That's what jumped at me the most and that I want to talk about. It's probably the ones that pissed me off the most, to be honest with y'all. But number 4, you probably gonna be surprised that I named this one because that's not my type of style of fighting. No fighters that I like to watch. But apparently, I don't know if he still got the record for Mpgymbox numbers of landed shots, but at the time he was. He might still be the record, and that was 620.
Yeah.
We talking about Jorge Payas and Troy Dorsey.
Okay.
So Troy Dorsey had, at the time when he fought Jorge Payas, which was for the IBF title, super featherweight, 126.
Yeah.
And Jorge Payas is the champ. So he's defending his belt. Mind you, he always been complaining that this is going to be his last fight. He keeps draining himself to get down to 126. Apparently, a reporter said that the night before that, the night before that or the morning before, I can't remember when they was doing the weigh-in. But put like this, on the day of the weigh-in, he was 5 pounds over, and a reporter had just seen him get a steak for breakfast. I don't know what that's about. Dedication. I don't know. Lack of discipline.
Yeah.
But put it like this. They need 2 hours to shed the weight.
Yeah.
By the time they wasn't ready, they didn't want to. Yeah. And Dorsey, Troy Dorsey's manager, had trying to convince them to, try to shed the weight. They wanted to just fight a 10-round fight.
Yeah.
It was like, nah, please do 2 more hours to try to be able to make this a championship fight, which they did. He made the weight. Troy Dorsey, the story behind Troy Dorsey. Jorge Payas is a boxer, living breed. He was a 33 wins.
Yeah.
He had 2 losses and 2 draws. And I think that might have been his 6th defense or something like that. Troy Dorsey, he had 10 wins.
Yeah.
2 wins, 2 draws, 7 knockouts. The other guy had I think 25 knockouts.
Yeah.
You thinking, how come is the amount of fighters that low? The Dorsey guy. He's also a 3-time kickboxing champion. And at the time, he was going to be the first one to simultaneously hold a kickboxing belt and a boxing belt.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, and then, Coach, you know how I tell you Sean Porter is just a nightmare for any boxer?
Yeah.
Just on your chest?
Yeah.
Mind you, Jorge, he probably was drained because he didn't make weight originally. Then he had to shed 5 pounds within 2 hours or whatever he did.
Yeah.
When I tell you this fight from the opening bell to the 12th round, the kickboxer is on his chest.
Yeah.
Like on his chest. Like barely have room to land punches on him.
Yeah.
I don't know how effective the punches was because he didn't knock him out.
Yeah.
But he was landing way more.
Dominated him, yeah.
Man, and then he was reluctant to just sit on the ropes. It's not that how most people get me sometimes, like in the corner by the ropes. No. He is leaning comfortably on the ropes and just try to tuck in and just taking shots. I give him that. I did give him at least one round. He potentially might have 2-3 rounds at the most, but he guaranteed got one round because he knocked the guy down in the second round.
Yeah, what happened
on counter punching?
What happened in the decision?
The decision, they gave the win to I think they gave it was a split decision. They gave it to Jorge Paez. No way, no how.
It's crazy.
He won.
It's crazy, that isn't it?
I'm saying he sat on his chest.
Yeah, that's crazy.
All right, let me put it in perspective because you didn't watch the fight for the viewers out there. But Coach, you're gonna be shocked because you watch boxing.
Yeah.
It was so bad. I want to say towards the mid rounds or late rounds, because they was just fine in corners. And I'm not saying he was chasing him.
Yeah.
Whatever corner he started at, it was the whole 3 minutes.
Wow.
Every now and then, the ref will break it up and it go right back in the corner. One time, it was so bad, the ref pushed Troy Dorsey, the kickboxer, pushed him off and grabbed the champ's hand to bring them to the center of the ring. I was like, hold his hand like that was his girlfriend. Held his hand like that was his girlfriend.
Wow, that's bad.
I was like, yo. It was so bad, man. That's a terrible decision. I had it fourth because one, he was trying to, it wasn't, they're just not big names. Really, that's the reason. But it could be one of the worst robberies because he got the record. I don't know if he still stands now at the time for the most landed shots. Wow. 620 shots.
Wow. That's
120 shots.
That probably could, to be fair, that probably is still the record. That I've never heard of that. That's ridiculous, mate. Landed, wow. What's your third?
My third, my boy from Philly, Tevin Farmer.
No.
Kunishi Ogawa. Oh man, talk about a robbery. I think I give Kunishi Ogawa potentially round 2, potentially, and I might have given me round 11, maybe. But it was a clear-cut domination by Tevin Farmer. Boxed him up the first round because Kunishi Ogawa was stronger. But then towards the end of the fight, he put the pressure on Ogawa and came forward and started landing punches. He was boxing him the first part.
Yeah.
And he was still winning the rounds. Probably won 5 out of the 6. And then the rest of the end, he was becoming the bully and countering him, even looking slick, but going forward and countering him to the body. But they gave it to Kunishi Ogawa. Then we later on, I think it was for the IBF. Then we later on know the story that he failed his drug test, got suspended, and then the IBF became vacant again, and my man had to go to Australia and be that Australian dude to finally get the IBF that he actually had won that night if they didn't rob him. Wow. So now when you see Tevin Farmer's record, you got that one next to draw, that's a no contest because of that. But really, he got robbed. That should have been the one while the guy was on whatever he was on.
Yeah. Wow.
So that's my third fight. Like,
who's your second?
Yo, this was very hard because my 1 and 2 is very close. My second, actually, it was more marbles on the table because you talking about the current super lightweight or however it was called at the time, champion.
Yeah.
Which was Chavez.
140, yeah? 140.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you have the current WBC welterweight champ.
Yeah.
Which was my boy, rest in peace, Pernell Whitaker, VA's finest, the slickest boxer of all time. The slickest. I believe the slickest boxer of all time. You know, I gotta show love to my home state. Man, the only reason I didn't have it as the number one robbery is because Chavez had some competitive rounds that he actually lost anyway.
Yeah.
At the beginning. I probably give Chavez 2 rounds at the most. He still lost those competitive rounds, but they were close.
Yeah.
But Pernell Whitaker at the beginning, it was an exchange, but Pernell jab just was edging and still in the rounds.
Yeah.
The second part of the fight, Pernell dominated. It's not even close.
Bad. It's really bad. Was that in Vegas?
It would have been. I think that was in Texas.
Well, that's even so because Texas. See, the thing is, Texas is so. A lot of the Mexican fighters fight in Texas, don't they? Canelo fought there.
I think it was considered like the home stadium for Chavez.
Yeah.
But there was a issue with the judges from the part of Chavez. He didn't want no American judges, and that was a negotiation. There was issues in there. He wanted no American judges. And there was one American judge, a Texas judge, but he still had to fight.
Yeah.
Put things in perspective for the people. At the time, Chavez is 87-0-0. He never lost. At the time, Pernell Whitaker, I don't think I remember. I think he's 32-1-0. I think it's 32 wins. Yeah. I definitely know he had 1 loss. That 1 loss he had, that was a robbery. He won that fight by 9 rounds to 3. Yeah. But for some reason, they gave it to the other guy.
Yeah.
Man, and the bias in the commentators from the first half when it was close, but I believe Chavez was losing the rounds because Pernell Whitaker boxing style was still in him. Because Chavez was just throwing hard shots and getting blocked, you should hear the commentators. I mean, it's just nuts. I mean, and the amount of time I heard them say Chavez landed and he didn't land, or hear them say Pernell Whitaker with the right hand when he's a southpaw. I was like, people that watch boxing don't listen to commentators unless they're ex-fighters.
Well, see, the thing, I've watched that fight, and it was going towards the end. You're around 11, you're around 12. I mean, obviously, most people who watch it on YouTube, you know the outcome. But if you'd have been watching that live on the TV, you'd have been thinking, round about 11, round 12, especially in 12, you think, he's done it. He's beat him. He's ended Chavez's undefeated record. He's done it. The shock of that, look, again, it's politics. It's to do with...
And there's one thing, though, Coach. I didn't mean to cut you off right there.
Yeah.
I need to put things in perspective. At that time,
yeah,
this was the number 1, number 2 pound for pound.
Yeah, yeah.
They were saying that this fight was to decide the pound for pound, current pound for pound, but the term that they use, because Chavez, if I'm correct, he fought at the time of the Roger Mayweathers, the Leonards.
Yeah.
So, and they were so impressed with what Pernell had did at the time. He was the man. And Chavez came from those times. They was like, it's to find out the term they used was this fight is to find out the pound for pound legend of all time.
It's a bit much, but yeah. Yeah.
At the time, when you think about it.
Yeah. So
Chavez probably had accomplished more than what Leonard was.
Yes. Oh, no. Oh, yeah.
Chavez? All right, let me put this in perspective.
He's 87.
Pernell Whitaker and Chavez, when they introduced them, they're both champions. Yes, Chavez is going to a weight above, but they're both current champions, but he was the B side. Pernell was the A side. Both of them were 5-time world champions.
I mean, look,
at 3 different divisions.
Yeah,
one had never lost, and one had got cheated for his 1 loss.
The accolades I'm not disputing, but I think Leonard, if you're going to compare, I think Leonard...
Yeah, but I'm talking about at that time, and their career was still going.
Right, yeah.
They felt like they was going to pass Leonard anyway.
Yeah, that was a bad one. That was a bad one.
But that was number 1, number 2. That would have been, at the time, that would have been not comparing the careers or who they were at the time, but it was like Pacquiao Mayweather.
I think
#1 and number 2 in the
Leonard was a
game.
lot better than both of them. I think Duran had beat both. I think Duran probably would have beat both, and maybe he'd have struggled with
Pernell.
Pernell. Yeah, but I think he'd
Definitely would struggle Pernell. He would have beat Chavez.
Tommy Earns would have beat both of them. So that's, but yeah, terrible robbery. Well, we're struggling for time now, but who's your number one? Who's your number one robbery of all time?
My number one robbery is Manny Pacquiao, Timothy Bradley. Yes, it wasn't as much on the line as Sweet Pea and Chavez, but the reason why I picked that, I can give as many rounds to Bradley as I can give Chavez. Technically, I said I can give 2 to Chavez, but technically I only give him 1.
I remember.
Bradley possibly has none.
Yeah. Well,
you'll be generous to give Bradley 1. It could be a shutout.
I remember.
And when I said they weren't competitive, the reason why I put him number 1, some rounds Chavez lost were close. But I gave it to Pernell. There was no close round with Pacquiao. No. Maybe the 11th round. But I still give it to Pacquiao.
I remember watching that fight live in Mexico. I was on holiday in Mexico, and I was watching live, and so everyone else was obviously American in there or Mexican, but there's a lot of Americans in the sports bar, and I was the only one rooting for Pacquiao. Yeah, I was the only one rooting. I had my Pacquiao t-shirt on, and round 1, round 2, round 3, round 4, round 5, round 6, round 7, and then I was like, and it was delayed. What there was, because it was Mexican TV, it was like Mexican ESPN or something like that, I think. They have a lot, like in America, they have a lot of commercial breaks, didn't they? So it ended up not being live, actual live. So what happened was there was TVs all around the sports bar, and it come up in it, and we was on like round 11, and it come up in the sports bar, Pacquiao loses, and I was like, and I thought, oh, he must get knocked out. I was like, no, he must get knocked out, because how could he have lost? He clearly won every round. And then it goes to then it goes, and I was like, well, I'm confused. And then the giddy Bradley, I'm like, whoa. And even look, there was people cheering for Bradley all night long in the bar with me. And all them was like, they didn't even celebrate. They went, we ain't celebrating that. That's disgusting. And you know what makes it worse? And I've got a lot of respect for Timothy Bradley, a lot of respect. I think he's one of the best fighters of that generation, of that from 2005 to 67 up till 2015, 14. He accomplished a lot, and I think he's underrated, his record and all that. But when he got on the ropes and started cheering, I get that you've just been Manny Pacquiao, but as soon as that final bell rang, you knew, your coach knew. Oh, we lost that. When you've lost.
I don't know, because I will tell you why I don't know. I feel like it's a clear-cut robbery. In my eyes, people, it's the worst robbery of all time, hands down. Whether I know Bradley knew he lost, I'm not sure, because I'm looking at his corner in the early rounds. It's like, you beat him. How? He hasn't won a round. I don't care if it was the third, the fourth, or the first.
This is the problem with some corners.
Our coaches lying to their fighters.
Some corners, you've got to know the fighter. Like some fight, because you can say, right, you're behind, you need a knockout to the fighter, which I think, in my personal experience, I think you need to be truthful with them, but be careful. But you're not just walking in trying to finish a normal fighter. You're walking in on Manny Pacquiao, who you try and go wild, because Timothy Bradley can go wild. In that fight, he went wild. He was desperate, he was swinging wild.
He wasn't countering, there was exchanging. That's what Pacquiao loves to do.
And then if he turned around and said, if your coach said, right, Timothy, you've lost every round, you got to knock him out now. And if he went out wild, Manny Pacquiao is so quick and so accurate. He could have, as he goes wild and tries to finish, bang, the fight's over. That is high up there for me. One of the worst robberies.
Because to me, the rounds were not even close.
No. I mean, I would go as far as to say that was one of Manny Pacquiao's. To be fair, even though it was high work rate, it was a high work rate fight. Bradley, I think he was one of his easiest. He was never in trouble. Not once.
I thought it was. I was watching. I'm not a Pacquiao fan, so you can speak louder than me. But I thought this was one of Pacquiao's best performance.
And he never you know, when your Pacquiao, look, for as much as I love him, he does sometimes get caught clean. Everyone's like, "Oh, that was a big shot."
Defensively, that's why I feel like I enjoyed it because he was so sound defensively. He'll just step back and then he'll jump back in. He'll just step back.
Yep.
He'll step on the side, turn him around, and do all these crazy hooks and stuff. But I don't know. That's my worst robbery, people.
Yeah.
But don't forget about my man Pernell. Rest in peace.
So, we you know what? We probably will come back to this, do another podcast on this in more detail. Just that today we've both been busy this week, and we've been like, this is the only time we can get it in. There'll be another one coming next week. Please subscribe if you want to hear more of, want to see more podcasts. So we will get back to this, and if we do a bit more in depth when we got time, or we'll be mentioned. We'll do another podcast, but bring this one in at some point just to like honorably mentions and stuff like that. But we'll over time. Hope you enjoyed it. We'll keep posting. Want to be uploaded this time next week again. Thank you very much for listening. Thanks for your time as well, Jace, for coming on the podcast again, mate.
No problem. I appreciate the invite.
Thank you, mate.
And subscribe to my coach channel. And if you don't know about Pernell Whitaker, go YouTube him. Slickest boxer of all time.
Cheers, mate. Thank you.
All right.